Hey guys, I'm Eileen and welcome to my channel. Recently, I've been trying to learn how to use soft pastels, and this portrait I'll be working on in this video is my most recent attempt at that. I'm definitely still very new to pastels and still figuring out how they work and stuff, and I want to take you guys along with me while I learn. So let's get into it. So before starting the actual portrait, I wanted to do a quick practice sketch in my sketchbook of the person that I'm going to be drawing. And I'll put on screen now the reference that I used. I found it on Pinterest. It's just some random guy that I thought looked kind of cool. So that's who I'm going to be drawing. The reason I picked this reference to use is because I thought the angle of the face would make making this piece easier. Since to me this is it's like almost a side profile. Like it's basically a side profile, but you can like slightly see his other eye. But I find side profiles for me to be easier, so I figured if I did a face that was easier, I could focus more on the actual pastel work rather than worrying about the symmetry of his face or making everything look perfect. Also, I have a little tip for you guys. So in the video you see me covering his eye with my thumb. The reason I do that is because if I'm drawing somebody's face and something just like feels off about it, but I can't figure out what it is, I'll go around their face and I'll cover up like certain features, like I'll cover up the mouth, I'll cover up the nose, I'll cover up the eyes like I do in the video with my finger, and I'll look at the face for a second and try to like visualize how I think it's supposed to look, and then when I pull my thumb away I can like figure out where it's supposed to go. This works for me. I don't know if it'll work for anybody else, but that's a little tip if you want to try that out. So now that I have the sketch done in my sketchbook, I'm going to move on to putting it onto the actual paper that I'm going to be using for the portrait. One exciting thing about this piece is that it's actually my first time using real pastel paper. Up until this point, I've been using just like regular paper, like the paper in my sketchbook or like just some random paper I bought at Michael's to do my pastel drawings, and I'm gonna be honest, they haven't been turning out very well. I want to like pastels and I feel like I would really like them, but I can't layer the colors at all like I see other people do, which is really annoying. But I also didn't really want to make the investment in getting actual pastel paper yet, because I wasn't really sure if I liked the medium enough to spend like more money on it. Also because all the pastel paper that I was seeing online was like kind of expensive for paper, but yeah, I ended up getting like some sheets of it and it was definitely worth it. It made a huge difference. The texture of the paper is almost like a fine sandpaper, and it just holds on to the pastel so well, and I'm able to layer it, which is really, really great. So I'm definitely glad I made the investment of getting the paper. It was really worth it. Now, there is a reason I've been wanting to learn pastels. This upcoming September, I'm going to be a senior in high school, and I will be taking AP Studio Art for my second time. I took it this first time my junior year. I'm currently on summer vacation right now while I'm making this video. I don't know when I post this if it will still be summer vacation, but we'll see. But I already have an idea of what I want my sustained investigation to be. And for majority of my pieces, I want them to be done in pastels. So junior year, when I first took AP Studio Art, every single one of my pieces that I made, I used acrylic paint. I'll put some of my pieces on screen now, if I can find them. But as I kept making the pieces, the medium started to feel like repetitive. Not that I was getting like sick of acrylic paints, but I did kind of want to like branch out of that a little bit. So I figured this year I could mix it up a little bit and mix in a different medium into my pieces. Now, I didn't want to mix in a different medium that was similar to painting since I already do so much of that and I kind of wanted to branch out. So I wasn't going to do watercolor or gouache or like oil painting, which I already suck at oil painting, so I don't want to have to go down that road. And I didn't want to do digital art just because I'm not super confident in my digital art skills. Also because I don't really want to make digital art for school. I'd like to have something physical. And I figured something super different from everything I've ever done is pastels. I've never worked with anything like that before, and I figured this would be a good time to branch out my skills and maybe learn. And so far I've really enjoyed working with pastels. It's a different feel working with them. I can do a lot of different things that I'm not able to do with acrylics, and I really like the look of them afterwards. I think it's very nice to the eye. I'm really enjoying them. Now, of course, I'm not going to tell you I'm taking AP Studio Art without telling you what my sustained investigation is going to be. That would just be so rude of me. So this is what the question or the inquiry, I think that's how you pronounce it, is going to be. So this is what mine is. How do sleeping positions reveal hidden aspects of identity, emotion, and human vulnerability? So really, the whole aspect of it is just how does the position somebody sleeps reveal something about their personality. So my plan for these pieces is I'm going to be making a bunch of different pieces of people sleeping, obviously. And for example, I'm going to make a piece of somebody sleeping in like the fetal position, and that could represent like anxiety or security. Or another piece I could do is a piece of somebody like spread out doing like a starfish pose. And that can maybe symbolize confidence or like need for attention. And I'll do a bunch of other pieces like that. I have other ones planned, but I'm not gonna go and explain all of those. There's a lot. I like this idea because to me it feels like something that nobody's done before and maybe is more unique in this field. At least from what I've seen online, I've never seen anybody do something related to like sleeping positions. So I'm hoping that maybe it's something that will stand out, hopefully. Also, I figured that when the time comes, I could film and post on this channel my process of making all of my pieces and stuff. And like, you know, so you guys can follow along on my AP Studio Art journey if you guys are interested. If you guys are interested, please do leave a comment or like, you know, suggestions if you guys want. That would be really helpful. So about making this piece, it was a bit tricky for me to pick out colors. I, for the most part, work in acrylic paints, like I said earlier. So I'm used to being able to mix my own colors, but with pastels, you can't really do that. I think the trickiest part to find colors for was the skin. The pack that I got, at least, didn't come with a bunch of good skin tones. They definitely have a lot of tones that are kind of like a skin tone, but I found that a lot of them were very orange, and as you can see, he turned out a little bit orange. But I think with time and like practicing with these colors and stuff, I'll find more colors that work better for skin tones, and maybe figure out a way to like blend them into better colors. I think that all just comes with time and practice, so I'm not shocked that I wasn't great at it right now since I'm really, really new to it, but yeah. I haven't tried blending these pastels on this paper, and my plan for this piece originally was to blend the colors together, but I think that it didn't really need to be blended. I like the look of all the colors seeming more separate and coming together to make this piece without needing to be blended. But I think blending on this paper will be a little bit trickier just because the paper holds on to the color so much more. Not like it's gonna be impossible, but I think it's gonna be like a little trickier because when I was working on the more smoother paper, obviously the pastels just move around everywhere. They don't stay in one place. So it's a little easier to blend them, but I think it'll definitely look better on this paper, but I don't know, maybe in my next piece I'll actually try blending the colors together. I love it whenever I make an art piece and I actually learn something from the process of making it, and I think this piece is definitely one of those that has taught me something. It definitely taught me that the type of paper you use can definitely change the outcome of the final piece, and it made me very glad that I actually took the time to get actual pastel paper. It really did make a difference. So here's the final piece. I'm very happy with how it turned out. While I do wish he was a little less orange, I still think that the colors are really nice overall. Thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure to subscribe if you'd like to see more of my art journey, and when the time comes, the making of my AP Studio Art portfolio. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!